You know, I haven't actually read a book in a while. It's not like I actually have any books I need to read for literature. No, I want something substantial, something with good moral fibre that is actually non-existent. I need a picture storybook. No. No. What? Not a single picture storybook in my whole bookcase. Well, now what? Ah. Ugh. The Magic School Bus. Well, it did start as a picture storybook. Close enough. Yes, The Magic School Bus. This is a franchise that started as a series of books by Joanna Cole and Bruce Deegan, with the first book coming out in 1985. The books followed a class of students and their enthusiastic teacher, Miss Frizzle, as they go on extraordinary excursions in the Magic School Bus. Seriously, they go into a kid's body. Ew. 9 years later, the Magic School Bus television series premiered, and along with it, a series of 8 PC games. I actually own 3 of them, but let's focus on Explores the Earth, the game I remember the most. This, along with a flurry of other PC games I still continue to hunt down to this day, was on every school computer back in primary school. Every free time you would see children either creating pieces of artwork in kids' pics, or constantly clicking the arrows on the Rock License avatar creator. So, when you first insert the disc, you're given the option of installing the game, quitting while you're behind, or asking for help, all with the assistance of Liz. And good lord, what have they done to you, Liz? He looks completely stoned out of his head. Which begins to question, what gender is Liz? Was it directly said in the TV series? One of the many questions that may never be answered. Oh wait, she's a girl. Oh. Pick the game up and...
Thank goodness we made it!
Okay. You get the classic Magic School Bus theme, which was actually written and performed by Little Richard of all people. And we meet our friends who will be accompanying us on the bus, including Carlos, the classical Latino comedy relief.
It's working! The bees are catching on!
They're really bebopping! Carlos!
So, the plot of the game is that Arnold, who by the way looks like a chicken twisty, has managed to lose some of his rocks in his rock collection.
Lost rocks? Lost minerals? Not a problem, Arnold. We'll take a field trip and go directly to the source.
We're then allowed to explore the classroom in the style of a humongous entertainment point-and-click game. With pretty much everything clickable, this is reminiscent of the Putt-Putt series for me.
I look good!
Oh, and we get to learn about our fellow classmates, like how they never seem to want to break eye contact from you. And that Carlos never seems to run out of puns pertaining to geology.
Let's not take rocks for granted.
So, we're apparently supposed to get onto the school bus, but before that, we need to sort out our Rockhound license. Just go through the choices for hair, eyes, ears, nose, mouth. There we go. My name? Well, you tell me. Age? Too old. Too old for this game. Accurate. So we're finally allowed to go onto the bus when Liz starts to talk.
Then, click on the Go button to get there.
From what I remember, Liz was a complete mute in the television series. However, I think having Liz as a third party as a guide was somewhat of a good idea. So where do we want to go? How about the fault? Because it's my fault that we're playing this game. Lol. So we finally get to the fault line and hop out of the bus, click on that hot air balloon and see one of the worst air balloon animations ever. Click on the kids and...
Hey, what's all this talk about plates? Is it time to eat?
Of course Ralph eats a lot, get it? Because he's fat. Shut up, Ralph! Shut up. So it seems that a majority of the game is actually a combination of point-and-click on scenes and mini-games. While a fair few are extremely compelling to play, such as the gold panning game, others aren't as much. Like this one, where you have to dig for coal and oil. I'm playing against Liz when suddenly she's striking oil over and over again. Meanwhile, I'm over here barely finding a drop. I'm inclined to assume that this is a game bug, and I ended up leaving very early. The same applies for this bat game. Using the arrow keys is extremely unresponsive to get through the cave, and I continuously crashed into the ceiling. I can't fly up quick enough to get over it. I wasn't aware one could pan for gold through a waterfall, or that you could find penguins in said waterfall. The penguin rush of 1850? Seriously, these penguins are everywhere and all these weird animal plushies. I don't understand, is this some kind of inside joke? This puzzle game, where you put the pieces of Earth back together, was a lot of fun when I was a kid. It was actually where I learned the word Pangea. That's pretty impressive for a 7-year-old. Then I came across one of the worst games in the collection. In this one, you have to jump onto a trampoline and onto a moving platform. It's not just the stupid premise and awful controls, but the weird music that plays in the background.
Watch out! Thank goodness for that guy friend.
An interesting fact, when I inserted the disc into my computer, iTunes recognized it as an audio CD and asked if I wanted to copy the songs onto my library. I don't know what to find stranger, songs in an educational children's game, or ones that fall into the religious psychedelic genre. So you go back to the bus and you'll find more mini-games, including a costume dress one where you can dress Arnold and Keisha. I chose to defy gender stereotypes and dressed Arnold in a lovely white frock with heels.
I believe in miracles!
The game is extremely endearing. It doesn't treat the player like an idiot, but rather introduce them to a lot of different ideas. With media nowadays catering to the lowest common denominator, it's refreshing to find games that are actually stimulating. Kind of. While playing the mini-games and exploring, you need to look out for any loose rocks outside. Bring them back inside and identify it. If it's the rock that Arnold has lost, it'll go back into his collection. Keisha will then tell you all about the variety of rocks in the box, while Miss Frizzle stares into space. Well, that pretty much sums up one of the Magic Schoolbus games, and these games are actually aged really well, excluding some of the graphics. I wouldn't be surprised if they were still using school curriculums nowadays, and I reckon they'll hold a permanent mark in our history and